All right, guys, welcome back to Group A. This is the match where we now determine which is going to be our first player moving on to the round of 16 in WCS EU Season 2. I'm looking forward to it, as we now have Mr. MVP going up against Tefel.
That's right. Which player is coming to Cologne, Germany first? Is it going to be MVP claiming, hello, I'm back in Season 2, and I'm back here to win it in convincing fashion and go 2-0 in the round of 32, which, bear in mind, he did struggle in the previous season, narrowly making it out? Or do we have Tefel, a guy that's just gone whoop up the ranks in WCS? Can he be the first player to make it way through?
Yep, currently is sitting at 350 WCS points, is Mr. Tefel.
Not many. I think
many.
Innovation is like at 4,000.
4,500, I think.
500?
I think
I thought
so.
it was a little bit less, but
and
it wouldn't surprise me, man.
MVP's at 3,100.
Yeah.
I haven't got them all memorized.
Tefel's got a long way to go to get the round of 16, we'll say that.
Yeah.
Because it is very difficult, it's very competitive, but the best way to do that, Tefel, you got to win this tournament, mate. Sorry, you got to win it all. You got to win it all to get those points.
If I had to guess, I think top 16, like number 16, I think it is 1,800. I think that might be a really bad estimate. I'll check it in a bit, but I'm pretty sure it's around that. And that's actually, I think that's Demaga at the very, very cusp now. He used to be around 14th or 13th or 14th, but he got knocked down a little bit after Home Story Cup and stuff like that.
1350.
All right,
bad.
okay.
It's pretty close, pretty close. But that's the WCS cutoff point. But now let's focus on our next match, which is going to be MVP versus Tefel. Two player styles, very different to each other. We have Tefel on one hand, very timing-oriented, as we saw in these previous two games. Game one was a little bit weird. It was a very scrappy game, I'd like to say, on Belshir Vesi's, a little back and forth and things happening that maybe didn't expect to happen. But game two was very clear-cut Tefel.
Yep.
Roach Hydra play, whether it was going to be a simple 1-1 or 2-2 timing, or as we saw, rush up to Vipers and try to play around with them and get Hydralisk into the mix and whatnot. And he has always been like that. Very good defensively, very good when it comes to hitting his timings in every matchup. On the other side of things, though, MVP knows everybody well, knows how to prepare, how to deal with you, how to make a strategy to beat you, and how to outplay you mentally and physically. Two different players, two different styles. Only one here will move through, first of all, and grab that first place spot.
Yep. And that first map will be Neoplanet S to kick things off in this best of three. A map where we just saw Tefel play exactly how we wanted to. So, without further ado, guys, let's jump in to game number one, as we have spawning down to the bottom left-hand corner as our Red Terran. He goes by the name of LGIM MVP.
That's right, MVP, last year's European champion.
And spawning up to the top right as our blue Zerg, we have Mr. Dignitas Tefel.
And when you play in the Premier League, let's see how well he's going to do here. He has his task ahead of him. He's currently going up against, as mentioned, the European champion from last season. He's also going up against top 4 finisher from the Season 1 Grand Finals that were broadcasted just 2 weeks ago live from Seoul, South Korea. He's got a definite difficult match coming up here. Can MVP cruise through? I think a lot of people are expecting him to do so.
Yeah, certainly. He's apparently not had as much trouble just yet as he did in the previous round of 32. That being said, he did run into trouble in form of a Zerg. Then it was Demaga. So will another Zerg cause him plight here? I don't know. I mean, Tefel, he certainly played well against Beastie, but can he play well against the King of Wings?
Well, let's just imagine this is the same map that he just moved on from.
Yeah.
If he was to repeat everything, the same thing, there's a possibility that Tefel may be able to beat MVP here. It's not likely, but there is a hope for Team Dignitas, for Poland, if he was to be able to beat MVP in map number 1, and anything's possible after that. Imagine a world where Tefel advanced over MVP.
That would be pretty impressive. That really would.
It's possible, man. I feel it. I'm having this feeling inside. I can't quite describe it. I don't know if it was that weird sandwich I had earlier, or if it's the thought of Tefel moving forward, but I feel something.
Those sandwiches were weird.
I do feel something.
Yeah. Well, we shall see. I mean, Tefel here, again, coming off the back of a win on this map against the same race, has only got to be a good feeling. I think
Yeah.
he probably plays out exactly the same game. It would be strange for him to really fully swing it up and make it different, but I think he probably will. And depending on how MVP deals with it, he then has a little bit of room to say, well, game number 2, going to make a bit of a change.
Yeah, anything's possible here from both sides, in honesty. I mean, whether MVP plays the same as he played in the previous season finals, and whether he played the same against Kangho as well. I remember that game specifically. I casted it with Day 9 of how he was very reactionary to how Kangho, aka Lucero, was playing in the Season 1 finals. But the big question is, can Tefel do it here? He's opened up with his spawn and pull first into his later hatchery. He's got his second queen building from his main, not his natural. The difference between spawn and pull and hatchery first here. And he will start to mine on this natural very shortly. He's gasless so far. And if he wanted it all in, per se, that gas would have come down. He's even got a third queen on the way in his production tab. And he's just playing this out very macro-focused. So far, everything is aiming towards the Roach Warren. It's aiming towards the Evolution Chambers coming down. It's aiming towards Roach Hydra play at this point. Nothing out of the ordinary, no all-ins, no aggressive tactics from him. On the flip side, MVP so far, very normal. Command center first, gases, factory coming down. Reactor will follow. Third command center or not? I'm going to say yes. Yes, yes, yes. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's only fitting that we do in Germany. Do you think he's going to actually crank out a few tanks to try and deal with his opponent?
I believe so. I wouldn't be surprised if MVP watched those first couple of games.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if MVP had a look into Tefel. It's not too hard to find out.
Yeah.
You know, you have a quick look. When was the last tournament he played? It was DreamHack. Who did he play against? And you have a look at who he played against. He had played against a couple of Terran players. I think Tasia was one player he beat out. He beat Thorzane as well. So Tefel beating Thorzane. That is a game potentially MVP would have seen. But MVP is opening up with how he likes to play this matchup Kalaris, how a lot of Terran players like to play any Terran matchup.
Yep, those Hellbats, they certainly make it work for the Terrans. We'll see how well this is going to work for Mr. MVP. Adding on that Starport as well, going for those Hellbat drops. And Tefel, he's going to, well, he's going to be tested very soon. If there's any way that MVP can test you, it's certainly this way.
Well, he's walled off on the front with his Roach Warren, Queen, and Evolution Chamber. This will prevent Hellions from coming through.
Yep.
But if they come from the sky, and they're called Hell Drops, then this could be dangerous here for Tefel. Let's see how many roaches he builds. Does he identify that this is even coming in? Remember, I don't think he's spotted an Overlord. He hasn't sent in an Overlord. He's got one to the south side of MVP's base, one to the north side. They haven't gone in. He has no idea. He's seen nothing.
Yeah, he really hasn't.
Squeaky mouse voice. He's seen nothing, Kalaris.
Squeaky mouse voice, man. It's required. And the thing is that Tefel normally, he's going to finish up his lair very soon, and then eventually he will get that Overseer, but it's going to be too late. By that time, this first medevac's going to have moved out with the Hellbats, and there's going to be trouble afoot here for the poor Zerg.
I mean, how many queens has he got now? He's got
4.
4 queens. So 4 queens isn't bad. They bring down the medevac quite fast, but are they together? Probably not. Are they creep spreading? Probably. There's a couple, 3 of them on the natural at this one point. Well, I'm going to see those. I think our medevac's complete, so the medevac's going to start making its way. Does it miss all the overlords? It's going straight to the middle. I can see it right now. If this lands, Tefel, I said Typhel because I wanted to say Strifle. Tefel's plan is strifled. That's what I wanted to say.
Stifled.
Stifled.
There you go.
I completely messed that sentence up, but you know what I meant. I got a good heart, I have.
He has. He's got a good heart. And we'll see if these Hellbats can actually do some damage here in the main. He's already separating up some of his drones and doing a pretty good job of defending them. Only 2 have gone down thus far and separated them up well enough so that the Roaches and Hydralisks, and the Queens can push them off. But the third base, he's actually under assault from Hellions as well. Hellbats and Hellions in tandem with one another do a lot of damage, and he does get quite a lot of drones there, 9 total.
All right, I got to pick this up. How many drones did he kill, first of all? That's the big point.
9.
9, that's a lot.
9.
But back at home, when you do this kind of drop, you don't have tanks, you don't have mines, you don't have a lot of units, you could be in trouble to a counterattack.
Yeah.
This is something that happens very often in Zerg vs Terran games. There's a lot of roaches out, I feel.
20.
20, exactly. 20 roaches and Roach Speed's about to finish. 1-1 is near completion. MVP has to play this out very smartly. If his front wall gets broken down, let's see how many. If he gets kills with this drop, this could work out well for him too, because that means that Tefel definitely needs to do damage.
Yeah, this might pull him back. I mean, the roaches are exactly...
I would not go back.
Yeah.
I would not go back.
He's in such a good position to assault right now. And how many units are there out? There's 4 Marauders, 5 Marines, and a few Hellbats.
Another bunker too. MVP realizes a threat, but he may be okay here. He's got a lot of Hellbats.
Yeah, he really does. They're going to do quite a lot of damage if they can actually close the gap. But because the wall is there, they can't actually get themselves in position there. We'll have to force it back once that bunker actually does go down. Constantly powering them forwards now is Tefel. That's still a lot of damage that you could potentially do here with that one bunker helping.
Doesn't want to overcommit. Kill the supply depots, get out if you can. Don't overcommit. I don't think he can break through here. If he loses all his roaches, remember, he's in a bunch of trouble. But there's nothing but units being made. 30 roaches. Actually, he's got 30 roaches. He's putting nothing but roaches here. The bunker goes down. MVP did not repair it. MVP's front wall is breaking down. Yeah, and he really doesn't have that many units left at home here at all. He has 2 Hellbats in the middle of the map here trying to do some damage to his opponent's drones. He's in desperation mode here. The army value 62 to 32 right now in favor of Tefel. MVP is dropping once again in his opponent's main base, trying to kill off some drones, but at the same time, this power at the front is doing too much. He's actually killed off 18 workers to his opponent's killed off 18 workers. MVP,
it's dead even.
Is he going to be in trouble here? 64 army supply to 28. Tefel could take game number 1. He's doubled his supply here, Kalaris.
And he's slowly getting on top of his production here. There's 3 Marauders, 3 Marines left over to try and clean all this up. The Hellbats in the main have actually died off, so they're not going to do anything else. And now Tefel, sat on all of this production, could continue to do a lot of damage. He's killed off so many. He's killed off 30 workers. It's 23 workers to 43 right now. Yeah, trademark Tefel here, just smashing through. He's bringing down the command center. If that does not get picked up, that shall fall as well. The slow Zerglings come into the mix. Because why not?
You're a cheeky Polish man, you are.
A cheeky Polish man. He realizes that there's a lot of Marauders. Why not bring some Zerglings along for the fun? As he should be able to kill off quite a lot of this left over. Only 4 Marauders left. These medevacs completely drained of energy. He's having to pull all the SCVs once again to go for the engagement. 41 workers have been killed off by Tefel. And in game number 1, Tefel says, once again, this is Europe MVP. Some of us are pretty sturdy. Some of us don't like to lose games too often. And 6 workers left.
Tefel is going to win this game. It's that simple now. He's done enough damage. Even if he didn't outright kill his opponent, he goes back to droning and whatnot. MVP is putting everything back into surviving with this game. He's got 3 command centers. You know, there's always that off chance. Does he have enough economy to kind of bounce back through having 3 command centers? In this game, I'd probably say no. Behind this, Tefel, if he wants to make sure, guarantee this coming down, you know, the Hydralisk Den, the Infestation Pit, anything to stop Medivacs, because that's the kind of big threat. This kind of army can't be beaten up. For MVP, if he goes across, he's going to get squished. If he fights heads up, if he uses Medivacs to micro drop in multiple places, maybe, but still.
Yeah.
A double supply, 5 or so SCVs, 8 SCVs. This is an almost impossible comeback position for MVP.
Yeah. All Tefel has to do, it's a matter of numbers. With his economy flourishing as well as it is doing in comparison to MVP's, he just builds 40 roaches and then goes. And you can't beat that here from MVP's standpoint.
I'd recommend Zergling speed, though.
That'd be, yeah.
It might help the slow Zerglings out, but still, at this point, at 1-1 upgrades and roach speed, target down the Marauders, get in there. There's a lot of roaches. He's got to be careful, though. He's starting to lose a few units here.
Yeah. And, well...
Look at that. He's losing a lot here.
I'm kind of surprised by this.
Doesn't need to just go in too fast, though. He needs to take it calm. Like you said, you've got 5 workers to 50 at that point, or 43 exactly to 10. Yes, there's mules coming down, but just go up. Build some overlords, buddy. Breathe, Tefel. Don't drop this game now. This is your game to win.
Yeah.
Your game to mess up, though, as well. And MVP knows that. A couple of overlords being built in. Income is the same at this point, with mules coming in. 16 workers to 43 still. Just focus, man.
And MVP is going to try and make a meal of it. He is going to try and drop once again. But this is a good move by Tefel. Even if he doesn't actually do full damage here, just denying this base from mining is fantastic. That's all he needs to do right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's good. You know, just breathe, take it easy, deny the natural, defend the 3rd. Get a couple of roaches that you're about to pop out to defend this. Don't lose too many drones. Just simple things. He is losing a few drones, but not too many. 11 roaches popping out. He'll be able to deal with this. But remember, MVP is not mining a lot of money. The advantage that he has is Medivacs and Marauders. But eventually, if you build enough units, you will crush him. You will just have too many. MVP doesn't have the resources to be able to deal with this.
And as I said before, going up to something like 40 roaches, he's up to 42 right now. He will be on 50 very soon. And how do you deal with that with, well, 13 Marauders and 15 Marines? It's not enough in the end.
Yeah, I mean, we could definitely saw Tefel there get very, basically he saw money and gold and fame, riches, girls, parties and clubs when he almost beat MVP. And then was just going for it, and then all of a sudden he was like, oh. Then he sees darkness fading, the light moving away from his eyes, and he was going back to being that average Polish Zerg player. And then he realized, no, I want what I just described, and went back to play how he should play.
Yeah, very nice there, Apollo.
Sometimes, man, I come out with the best set of sentences.
It was all good up until that last point. But anyway, Tefel here, he's positioning himself. He's doing well. He's setting up all those parties, Apollo. He's setting up all those goals and money. And
imagine if he moves up another round at WCS, man. That's a lot of parties that you can spend.
That is a lot of
currency exchange between dollars, euros, and Polish money.
It's 1-4. Polish Slotner. There you go.
Slotner. Thank you.
Maybe that's mispronounced.
I'm sorry, Polish. I didn't know the currency. I know it's not euros. That's what I did know.
Yep.
But then we do have 18 Marauders, a lot of Marauders. Ideally, what he'd like to really ramp up his power force that Tefel had. 2 mines. This is interesting of an attack here. I don't think I agree with that.
I don't think you can break him right now.
Yeah, I don't think that was the right move. Definitely sit out and have the better concave is better. Oh, he's going for it.
Whoa.
This is a little risky.
Yeah, it kind of is. I mean, he does have +2/1 on these roaches, so they are doing a lot of damage, and eventually they probably will kill this army off. And any trade Tefel can make now is great.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. A little bit risky. We saw everyone had their heart in their throat then as he moved through the mines and whatnot, but he does push MVP back to 1 base. Another victory there. And as you said, +2 attackers done and +2 armor as well on the way. A nice counter drop by MVP doing everything. Remember, MVP's a winner. MVP knows what it takes to be a winner and come back from 5 SCVs. Guys, 5 blinking SCVs. That's how many he went down to. That's not too many SCVs. There's not a lot of money.
And he somehow macroed up this pretty impressive army. The fact that he was on 5 SCVs. He's got himself back up to around 20. Lost quite a few more, though, going through all of this. But still, the fact that he's held on for this long, but at the same time, Tefel's playing it safe now. He's just holding his opponent in a constricted position.
I can imagine the audience saying, "Full foreigner. Full foreigner."
Full foreigner.
And I could hear the whispers coming in. I heard them.
Yeah.
They were seeking through the walls of this studio, and I did hear them. But Tefel's not there yet.
Wait a minute, is it full foreigners you do it right?
No. Going full foreigners, you're winning and you just dropped the ball, man.
No, I thought full foreigner was like Snoot, like doing really well.
No, it's the complete opposite, man. It's dropping the ball.
Am I wrong?
I guarantee going full foreigner is dropping the ball and screwing up.
I don't know, man.
You reckon? All right, we'll have a look after. I'm pretty sure it's dropping the ball.
All right, okay. But anyway.
MVP, though. 80 supply to 160. Army versus Army. His Army's not that bad. If you look at Army supply and whatnot, you know, Roaches aren't the best fighting units. It's still 116 to 64, granted, but you know, tanks are coming in, Hydras are coming in, so he's actually increasing the strength of his composition, adding in Hydralis, great units, right? Infestors would probably be the better choice, in my opinion. Simply because he's got so much gas banked up, it's a lot easier to build them.
Yeah.
One thing that we mustn't see happen for Tefel is to lose his 3rd.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's constantly been under threat by these drops that MVP's been doing, and to be fair, he hasn't really lost that many of the units that he's been dropping with.
Yeah.
So it's always been retained, and it's always a hindrance in the back of Tefel.
Look at this, though. These 2 tanks, if Tefel tries to run away, MVP can chase. He's mining from this 3rd base.
What a cheeky... What?
Look at this. MVP's going to bait him in. He's going to say, come on, then. Come on, then. I got tanks on the high ground. I got tanks on the high ground. And if he tries to leave as well, MVP goes down. I'm getting nervous here.
No, he can't. He surely can't. The look on your face just then.
Clarence, if I was on camera, man.
Oh, that was great.
7 Hydras coming in. MVP's trading so well. Still, 180 supply to 80.
No way.
MVP went down to 5 SCVs.
Well, the 3rd base is under assault again. I mean, the
He's losing units at a rapid rate.
He is, but I mean, his economy's pretty good as well. He doesn't have his 5th and 6th gas guys, though, behind this. And actually, Tefel's almost mined out in his main.
Roaches are falling down. MVP, 2 tanks on the high ground. The roaches try to run away, and that was inevitable. They were going to get chased out. The supply difference, 60 supply. Third command center goes down. Oh!
This is... it's not going to happen. I can't see it happening, but if there's any player that's ever going to make it happen, it would be MVP, technically. Okay, how many hydras do we have?
Like I said,
We have 19
I'm going to...
hydras.
You know that hat I posted on Twitter earlier? I'm going to go eat that hat if MVP wins this, man.
Sharks won't be happy.
He doesn't have a choice because MVP still only 18 SCVs. Hydralisks are coming in now. He has no high ground vision. Why would you not bring an Overseer to kill these tanks?
How many kills do they
23
have?
Hydras, though. That's a lot of Hydras. They have 2-2 upgrades.
Yeah, pushing on once again.
Tefel.
So much damage being done from those Hydras in the back there. These siege tanks must have so many kills between them. But anyway, the Bio's still holding on strong as well. The supplies are getting pretty close. The army supply right now is 81 to 73. He could hold this force off.
There's the tanks going down. 90
Another
supply
tank.
to 80.
Oh, is this? He's dropped in the back. He's dropped on the Hydralisk den. He's gonna kill it.
MVP just took a supply lead, guys.
What is going on? This can't be happening.
MVP's got an army supply lead, guys.
This cannot be happening. He is on 20 workers to 31 right now.
MVP was at 5 workers to 50, guys. Granted, 3 sets of mules. MVP was on 1 base, guys. Guys?
What's going on? Apollo,
Rock, paper, scissors, guys.
Rock, paper, scissors. No! How is this occurring? MVP is a 91 supply to 81.
He's right. He's got no money. He's got no money in his main base. He's got hardly anything on the natural, but MVP has a supply lead. Tefel's building drones. Yes, I know you want money. I get it, you want money. You need a bigger army. Yes. How is this happening?
This drop, this medevac at the back, down to this bottom right, has been an absolute hero for MVP. He has made it work time and time again. He's killed off drones at the 3rd. He's killed off drones at the natural. He's killed off tech. His army is bigger than his opponents. It's 82 army supply to 54. What is going...
Tefel, you can't lose units like that, buddy. You can't take hits like that, man. You have to be careful. Remember those partying clubs? Man, come on,
They're
buddy.
vanishing, Apollo.
It's leaving his grasp. MVP has now equaled up the supply.
There's no more clubs, no more parties. There's only
the
trying to hold off MVP.
drop comes in again. You know, oh my God, I can't believe what we're actually seeing here.
No.
Like, this is incredible. MVP is a god.
This is... Well, he's going to push away that drop. Even though it just did a little bit of damage. Even limiting gas income there is fantastic. It just any little thing MVP can get right now, whilst he's establishing his 3rd base once again. MVP is, well, admittedly, he is mined out from his other locations.
Don't build a swarm host, buddy.
Oh, no.
Oh, Tefel, that's not going to help you, man.
Oh,
I don't think this is the right decision. MVP is going to coming for you very shortly.
Pathogen glands?
I think pathogen glands and infestors is a much better option.
Yeah.
Nice pick off of the infestors here. Swarm hosts, I think that's a mistake because he doesn't even have enduring locusts at this point.
I don't think he can even hold if a frontal push comes here, you know. The army supplies, once again, it's 79 to 64 in favor of MVP. He's got 13 roaches and 13 hydralisks against this bio army that's 2-1 upgraded. I don't think he wins this fight.
I think that I'm just actually mind blown, okay?
Likewise.
I'm mind blown. I'm actually speechless. I can't believe what we've just seen from MVP. Granted, Tefel's, you know, taking a bit of a supply lead once again.
7 infestors.
7, I mean, he's always had the gas, right?
Yeah. I don't think he's... If he gets the 7 infestors out right now and then stops this push, then great. But... well, he's going to go for a counter.
A counterattack is a decent option. He can lose the 3rd. If he kills MVP's 3rd as well, they trade 3rds. Infestors could be the savior.
Yeah.
But still, MVP, that means that MVP would have to walk into a bunch of fungals too. Like, that's okay. He's trading a bit of energy there for a fungal.
He's losing 1 or 2 of the infestors up to the north as well there, though. And another fungal does land, but he has only energy for 1 more fungal, and he loses all of the infestors in the process.
He's got a couple more being built. MVP with a supply lead still. Tefel is still on the other side of the map. Is entering MVP's main base. What the hell is going on?
Well...
Somebody call Doctor Who, man.
We need to go back in time.
I don't... Oh my gosh. So, oh, good fungus from the high ground there. That's really brought the health of these units down.
And he doesn't have that many medevacs.
He doesn't have that many medevacs, but the problem still remains. In a heads-up fight, he's losing his...
He's being held at this choke point in his main.
He's losing his army inside his base.
Much.
He's losing his army.
He has 26 army supply against 61. Apollo.
I'm just shaking my head.
Yeah.
I'm just shaking my head at this point. I can't believe what we've just seen. This would have to be one of the biggest comebacks. I remember in WCS last season, it was Happy versus Vortex was one of the biggest comebacks on Daybreak. If I'm not, I'm pretty sure it was WCS. That was a major comeback.
Yeah.
But this has to be one of the biggest. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
5 SCVs to 50 drones.
And then all the way back. And now his army supply 20 to 59 in favor of the Terran.
33 supply to 69. Spinecrawl is in desperation coming down from Tefel. I can't believe this.
No.
MVP, and I've been saying it for the last 10 minutes, I can't believe it, but you have to grasp how big of a comeback from 0 to hero this actually was.
He was dead, let's be fair. He was dead. And now
he's
he is
cleaning up the last 2
resurrected.
units. I don't know what's going through Tefel's mind right now. He's like, this isn't a European Terran player.
No, this is not.
This isn't a North American Terran player. I'm playing against MVP. I'm playing against a 4-time GSL champion.
That just doesn't die.
That doesn't die, that won't give up, won't surrender.
He does not die. 2 Swarm Hosts try and hold on to everything, but the scan goes down. Bye-bye, Swarm Hosts. And Tefel now is holding on to 13 drones.
I'm losing my sanity here. I need one of those t-shirts that says 1 by 1 the Penguins stole my sanity, because that's what I feel like.
Yeah.
Or it's more like 1 by 1. I can't even think.
What a game.
Guys, we're about to see the victory march of MVP. Drones come off the line, and he will take map number 1. G. Tefel. But MVP. The European champion from last year, a 4-time GSL champion, top 4 WCS Season 1 Grand Finals.
What
did we just see? That was remarkable. That was one of the biggest comebacks that we've seen in StarCraft 2 for a very, very long time. I don't even remember a bigger comeback than that. Whether it be Tefel's fault or MVP playing brilliant, a mix of both, it doesn't matter. Just the comeback in itself was remarkable. Yeah. Remarkable.
The fact that he had the great positioning at his natural and Tefel just was not able to close it out, it's beyond words. I'm sorry, it's beyond words. There's nothing much more.
Not many Terran players can do that.
No.
By the way, if you're new to StarCraft, if you want to play Terran, games don't usually look like that.
No.
It doesn't happen very often that these kind of plays make their way to the circuit like this. Not even on the ladder. Not even in practice games does this happen very often.
Yep.
But MVP, man.
Talk about a time to bring it out. I mean, of all times, why not here? Why?
You know, when we were about to be like, Tefel, yeah, baby. What did you get today? Like, what made you play well? And then all of a sudden, this happened, man. What a remarkable comeback. That is one to be remembered. So welcome to Season 2. This is, of course, the WCS Europe Premier League, where crap like that happens a lot.
Yeah.
Because we have amazing players like MVP here. Of course, tomorrow we have Stefano and MC playing. Don't forget about that group either. But before that, of course, we have to conclude today.
We do.
We're trying to find out who's going to be the first player to move into the round of 16. MVP or Tefel. A lot of people thought Tefel could do it. I thought he could do it.
Yeah.
And then we just saw that. That
was, yeah, beyond anything I expected today. I can't say I really expected that.
I'm slouched. I'm sorry. I'm a professional, but I just got hit by a big fish across my face. That's what that felt like.
We were.
I think so.
Playing up Tefel.
Tefel got hit by it.
Yeah,
by the Titanic. Jeez.
I think you're right.
That was incredible.
These kinds of things keep happening in WCS Europe. If it wasn't Widow Mines blowing up everything, it's now MVP somehow, some way, making one of the sickest comebacks of all time.
Yeah.
And it's only going to get better. What a way to kick off the Season 2. What a way.
Yeah. The next map, though, is going to be on Newkirk. Quite excited for this one. I haven't seen this map been played too much recently, but I am interested to see how this will play out here. We'll see if Tefel can strap his seatbelt up, ready for the ride of his life against a player like MVP.
New Stark decals on this map, making it very wolfy and very exciting. But now we do load up into our second game. How can Tefel break this man? Can Tefel try his best? Can he make this happen in game number 2? He has to. It's going to be big. We shall jump into game number 2 as we have spawning down to the bottom left-hand corner, one of the most resilient players of all time. He goes by the name of LGIM MVP. And spawning down to the bottom right as our red Zerg, we have none other than Dignitas Tefel.
Oh boy, oh boy. After that game number 1, Tefel, I don't even know what kind of mindset you'd be in after a game like that.
You'd be crushed,
You know, in all honesty, Tefel didn't play that out the smartest he ever could have done. But that's behind him now. It's behind us now. Map number 2 is upon us. It's the new version of Newkirk. A little bit smaller of a main base. There's pathways at the south expansions as well. It's just a little bit different to the older version that we were used to playing when we loaded up StarCraft 2 multiplayer and played on the ladder. But MVP, full of confidence, man. This is a 2-0. I can not see anything other than a 2-0 now.
No, not after that first game. That was just absolute insanity. And now here with MVP playing on this map. Does he open up barracks or does he go for command center?
Command center first, man.
Yeah,
I would go command center first. You could go Reaper play, try to, use the cliffs on this map, find out what your opponent's doing, but screw it, man. Go command center first. It's fine.
Yeah, it's a little harder on this map to make Reapers fully work out. It sort of reminds me a little bit of, not fully, but to a certain degree, Whirlwind, the amount of room that you have to jump into your opponent's main. But it's a little bit more on this map. So that command center is going to be on the high ground. A wise choice here, I think, by MVP. Opening very economically, but a little bit defensively, just in case.
Yeah, I mean, on the high ground, Tefel likes to go early spawning pool, or at least spawning pool before hatchery, whether it be early spawning pool or not. You very rarely, apart from Marine King Prime, see command centers on the low ground. There's just the advantage you get from having it on the low ground compared to having it on the high ground. It's not worth it, man. It's very minimal, actually, and the gain you get from having it on the low ground. So, as we see, most Terran players just wall off completely. His MVP does send out his first scout of the game to go figure out what exactly his opponent is doing. Do
you reckon we're going to see some Hellbat drops again?
I believe so. Yeah. I would believe so. MVP is a very Hellbat-friendly individual.
Yep.
He does like to build them in not just one matchup, in every matchup. And they are kind of the staple of Terran play at this point. I'd be surprised if a Terran player at the professional level played without using them at all.
Yeah.
I don't think there is a Terran player that doesn't use them at all.
No, it would be unwise to not use them, really. They can be so cost-effective and very, very annoying to deal with. And Tefel is certainly, having played in the European scene where you see Hellbats, it's a common thing.
We had a lot of tweets come through, Kalaris.
Yeah?
I got to eat that hat.
You got to eat that hat?
Got to eat that League of Legends hat.
Oh, I forgot about that.
I got to eat that League of Legends hat. I'm coming for you.
Oh, I hope Shox
Those
isn't
League
listening.
of Legends commentators upstairs, they're in trouble. Apollo's in Germany and he's hungry. And we just saw a game history here at WCS. So I'm eating that hat.
I did forget about that, man.
I'll take a chunk out of it later on. Thank you for your tweets. Remember to hashtag WCS or WCS EU. Doesn't really matter. Do what you want. WCS is better, guys.
Yeah, WCS is better.
I think there's more people hashtagging. I've been hashtagging WCS, so make sure you guys do as well. And let us know your thoughts on how you're enjoying Season 2 so far. Remember, we do have another day tomorrow, which is the Stefano and MC group.
Yeah. And let us know your thoughts on Game 1.
Yeah, let us know, how you're enjoying yourselves.
Yeah. All right, well, second expansion's on the way for Tefel here. So just going for that more macro focus to get things off again, getting that creep going. He's up to 3 queens just now, but would like to see a few more added. Can make for an easy defense later on.
Yeah, I think he went up to 4 queens in the last map. I think he got quite a early third hatchery, considering most Zerg players leave it till quite later. So I think he's delayed his fourth queen to get that third hatch and also add on the drones with the lava he's got. And he'll add it on in a second. As we can see, it's actually coming in right now. So perfect little addition there to get a comfortable amount of queens. You know, 1 per hatch at this point on 1 creep spreading is fine. Some players like to add a second one to help creep spread as well. But with MVP, he's got a tech lab coming. I don't think he's going to go Hellbats this game. I think he had a later gas, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. A little bit of lag. Let's have a look. Did he have...
I'm not actually, without looking at his base, it's very difficult to tell just from the production tab.
I don't think he's
so
mining
we will
from
have a look in a second.
If I look at the minimap, I don't think he's mining from his second one just yet.
Yeah.
It's only just being added on now.
Mori. You did this at DreamHack, buddy.
Did he?
Yeah, he did. I remember. You need to look at...
Your internet.
I don't know what it is. The German internet, your PC, whatever it is.
I'm not a big fan of it.
You cheeky little devil. But anyway, just give us 20 seconds. As you can see, we'll be into this game in a second.
There we go.
Oh, there we are. We're actually in straight away, so no problem.
Oh, well.
Didn't even need 20 seconds. But yeah, so if we look at MVP's base for a second, let's have a quick scan of his main. I don't think we will see Hellbat. I'm not sure. He's got 200 gas nearly banked up. He's gone straight for Stim. I don't think we'll see Hellbats this time.
Yeah.
Not if he's gone straight for Stim like this.
It looks just a bit more of a more kind of defensively focused
he's got 100
play.
gas in the bank. If he didn't get Stim, he'd have 200, where he could afford the armory and starport. But with getting Stim, that's 100 taken away, which means he only has 100 to buy both structures. He can't do that. It's going to be double engineering bay.
Yep, so a bit more of a bio focus here to kick things off for MVP, and I don't mind this really, considering how roach offensive his opponent was in game number 1. Why not get Stim out nice and timely? Why not get a few Marines and Marauders out just to deal with your opponent, who right now has that Roach Warren going down. He's got +1 weapons for range as well as that Carapace on the way. So there is certainly a big focus on Roaches once again here for Tefel.
Yeah, so basically his plan here, depending on what MVP does, if we did see a Hellbat drop, he'd probably go for that counterattack play again. It's actually very strong. But in this instance, because that's not what's happening, I believe that he'll try to go for a 2-2 timing. 1-1 may be a small attempt of a big rush play, but the way that the third base is on this map, you can have tanks on the high ground protecting it. It doesn't make much sense to try to go for a 1-1 timing, I don't think, on this map. Ideally, 2-2, I believe.
Yeah. I would agree with that. 2-2 is far more effective eventually when that timing actually comes along. But there was an interesting little thing that MVP did over at the third base. When he was kind of tickling away at the hatchery, he was actually focusing down lava more than anything.
Yeah.
Just to try and limit a little bit of his opponent, be it via units and the
that's
roaches
actually
or the
kind of
drones.
smart to do.
Yeah.
Double gas is coming down on the third base. Clear indication he's going straight up towards 2-2. He has a couple of ways to play this out. He can go 2-2. He can go up to Hive again and try to get the Vipers out. But I believe this time he may try to power up to 200 supply. So this will involve getting 2-2. Then as the gases are taken on the third base, the Hydralisk Den will come down and then just max out. I think that's his strategy.
Yeah, and we'll see how MVP is going to be able to deal with that. I think he should be up to 5 barracks pretty quickly now off the back of this third command center that has landed. So he needs to add on the 4th and 5th pretty quickly here. But the armory is now on the way to just line up things with 2-2 for him as well. So he's going to be flourishing as well with his upgrades.
And he's got tanks. The best weapon to deal with Roach and a Hydralisk, tanks. In good position, very difficult to deal with. There's a lot of Roaches being made here. Tefel is at 68 drones, so it's not like he needs to kill his opponent here. He's got a great economy, but he is going to try and break through a little bit. He needs to get +2 Carapace, though. That is a mistake if he doesn't research it.
Yeah.
He's putting a lot into Roaches. He needs to line up his 2-2 attack. That's his best chance if he's going to play this style. This Roach-heavy play may force a lift-up, but MVP won't care. It's not a victory for the Zerg player with a lift-up. If he kills all the SCVs, then maybe that's a different point. But I think MVP's just going to lift up here, and we'll just run away and just go back to hide inside his natural.
Yep, he's going to try and run away with his bio. Very, very important to save quite a bit of that. And does Stim up, actually, to get into a better position here so he can actually go for the engagement. Nice snipe out of that tank on the high ground, though, there with the Overseer. Tefel learning from 1 or 2 of the mistakes that we had in game number 1 and doing some nice damage.
12 SCVs were killed in this attack. Tefel at 150 supply. MVP, I'm surprised he didn't lift up and just go and hide.
Yeah.
There's no need to outfight in the open unless you know you're going to win it. And he lost a lot of his SCVs in doing so. A lot of Roaches are being built. Tefel smells that MVP wants to try and defend it from the low ground here.
And there's actually a pretty good defense against Hellions in his opponent's natural base, so did kill off quite a lot of those Hellions. They only got 3 workers in total. And Tefel does force the lift off, and he's actually 166 supply, so Tefel's playing this max-out style pretty nicely.
Yeah, he's done it nice. Now the Hydralisk Den is coming in, and the +2 Carapace, so he's getting everything he needs. But unfortunately, I fear, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Terran players out there watching this, that may have been a mistake from MVP to try to fight on the low ground.
Yeah.
Against a Roach-heavy player like that, he lost a lot of SCVs and a lot of his army value when he didn't need to. Do lift up, send the SCVs back, build up an army, then when you're ready, go down. I don't think you needed to take that fight there. I think you may have lost a little bit too much there, as Tefel does take a 70 supply, 60 supply lead. This game, though, MVP has more than 5 SCVs, guys. Game's over.
Game's over. You can't dispute that. Well, to your point, though, I mean, he has 108 army supply against 59 right now. So losing all of the army supply means that Tefel playing out this really quick max-out style is his army could eventually kind of just hit this very hard, or at least deny this base for a long, long time, whilst Tefel gets up his 4th base.
Yeah.
So, scary stuff.
But, you know, he's making the right moves in this game. When he's taken a big lead, he's got his Hydralisk down, he's got his 2-2, he's got his range, he'll get speed, he's got a 4th, and he's not taking damage with his drops, while keeping the contain up on the 3rd base. Everything you need to pick this victory up, or at least keep on winning, keep on being in the lead in this game. This is the movement out now that MVP will take his 3rd back. This is what he should have done minutes ago if he evacuated a little bit earlier.
No, you're right. He would have had that little bit more of an extra bio oomph to push those roaches away, along with the siege tanks that he's accrued. It would have been very, very nice. But now he establishes it, so he's going back up and running, and a lot of mules get dropped on that 3rd base to kind of get things up to speed. Whilst, as he said before, these medevacs really haven't done too much yet. So
yeah, he needs to try to find an opening, but there are Hydralisks out now with their range upgrades, so the opening isn't going to be as easy as before. And what we're going to see now from Tefel is that big play. It goes something like this, and then we start dancing. You know that song?
It's going down to the club.
I forgot the song name.
I don't
it goes to something like this. I don't know. Anyway, he's going to come in from both sides. 2-2 upgrades, Roach Hydra play, smash, crash. That's the strategy here. Yeah,
and he certainly smashed and crashed a lot of those siege tanks there. 1 or 2 of them do already go down, along with that bio as well. And even the command center could actually fall here if the Hydralisk actually focus it down, but he's killing off a lot of workers, as well as a lot of the bio, trying to push it on back where he can do. Army supplies 94 to 50 here in favor of Tefel. Needs to bring his reinforcements quickly along where he can. But actually, there's only 2 siege tanks, 6 marauders, and 8 marines left. So these Zerglings and Hydralisks could just finish things up. And he doesn't have Zergling speed again.
He doesn't have Zergling speed. I don't think he has Hydra speed either. These Hydras are moving quite slow, and he's going to make his way in. This time it's looking a little bit better for Tefel. He's got a great supply behind him. He's on 4 bases. He's broken through the natural. There's not much left for MVP here. There is a tank at the back, but the medivacs are falling. And Tefel is doing nothing but reinforcing from this. The 3rd base has gone down, though. As much as we like to look at the action here, we have to look at the drops in the background, too. MVP's killed the 3rd base. He's managed to break his way into the natural now. This actually slows Tefel down a little bit to where he'd ideally like to be.
Yeah, thankfully, though, for Tefel, he will clean up the drops eventually. This is something that he didn't have the opportunity to do so in game number 1. He didn't shut them down as well. I mean, because the 3rd died, it hasn't been as that clean, but it's cleaner than it was last game. So now all Tefel has to do is sit outside for a while and wait.
Deja vu.
Yeah.
Sometimes this happens, man. Sometimes I get a bit of deja vu. Roughly about 7 or 8 o'clock in the evening. And it's happening again now.
Oh, yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah, it happens often. Hydra speed coming in. Hive as well. The drops coming down. Tefel, you're not in as good position as before, but let's hope as a region, or hope as anti-Terran fans, I don't know where I'm going with this, that he learned from his mistakes prior, because it's going to be painful if he didn't.
Yeah, well, the drops are on the way. Once again, actually, there's only Zerglings to really clean this up, and because he actually invested into range upgrades, the Lings aren't really able to clean this up as effectively as they would do, so I think he actually has to bring a little bit more back here than what normally would have. He had to bring a lot of Zerglings back to clean that up. And look, all the Hydralisks have had to leave as well. They're going to try and intercept the drop, but no.
Oh, if only they had Hydra speed. Actually, he's going to repair here, or at least heal, should I say, not repair.
Focus medivacs.
Nice pick up there by Tefel. Great. Good job, buddy. That was nice, actually.
Yeah, that really was.
And now he's got his 4th and 3rd in full action. He's rushing back up to 200 supply. He's got the Hive coming down. One thing I probably would have liked to seen him do, he may just go for 3-3 upgrades and stick on Roach Hydra, right? But for me, I would have loved to see the melee upgrade come down and then +3 Carapace and switch over to Ultralisks. But what he may do is just get 3-3 and build Vipers instead and just stick on Roach Hydra. Keep the numbers high instead of trying to change the army composition.
He's going to try and push forwards once again. He has to be a little careful, though, because he doesn't have that many roaches. The Hydralisks are going to dissolve very quickly to this kind of army. So any engagement that goes on for now for Tefel, it has to be backed up with a lot of support. And those Vipers should be on the way soon.
But remember, MVP can never fight across the other side of the map. Never, ever can fight. Because what will happen is he will move through the middle of the map as one small blue unit. And then what will happen is the Roach Hydras will come from every direction and crush him. He has to play this out slowly and methodically. Third base down. Drops coming down. Let Tefel come to him.
One of those Hydralisks are going to spread themselves out, looking to actually go for a big, big concave here across this entire army. The siege tank line does go back quite far, though. And Tefel doesn't know exactly how far it goes back, so he has to be very, very cautious here, as he's taking quite a bit of damage. One of the siege tanks to the left-hand side will get taken down super fast, and it is trying to still establish this concave. The bigger the concave and the longer the line, the less splash damage of the majority of these units are going to be taking. And because Tefel's army was so large, he is able to power on through and completely ransack the third.
Yeah, that's a good play there by... And that's it, GG. Don't need to talk about that game anymore. Well played by Tefel, and is able finally here to pick up a game against MVP.
Imagine if game one had gone differently.
Could have been 2-0. Could have been 2-0. And I'd like to go as far as saying, very similar to BCQT, if Tefel advances out of this group with this next map, I'd like to say that's one of his biggest results. Yeah. Especially considering in StarCraft 2, as a player, it's the hardest game to play. Yep. Throughout all of its lifespan, right now, to play the game at this point, it's the hardest. And if he's able to get round of 16 and WCS Premier League, that's a good result from him. The opportunity to play for top 8, to play to stay in Premier League, to get relevancy from the European crowd, from the American crowd, from wherever you're watching from as well. I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, you're right. I mean, Tefel, he's been on the rise slightly. Yeah. Trying to perform very well in the European scene. You see him a lot in weekly cups. I cast a lot of weekly cups where I see Tefel performing very, very strongly. But it's never really been the very strong heights of a big LAN or a tournament of this caliber. And proving himself here, any player coming up from Challenger, any player still in Premier, still has to prove themselves through a tournament that is so prestigious and so top-notch that it means everything here. It means everything for both of these players. As much as we talk about Tefel, this 25-year-old, probably overshadowed Zerg player through the likes of Nurtio, never had the chance to shine. Now is his chance. He's playing in front of 30,000 people on stream, is playing in front of multiple viewers when they watch the VODs as well. And it's his chance to beat a 4-time GSL champion here with this next map, which is going to be on one of our new maps this season. Yep, Derelict Watcher, a map that is in the ladder map pool, I believe. Protoss theme. And, well, I think that a lot of players are not huge fans of it. I think it works very nicely for Zerg, this map, against a Terran. Yeah, it's got such a large open middle space. I mean, I'm not sure if too many of you may know the name of it, but when you see it, you'll know exactly what map it is. It's in the ladder rotation right now. You play it a lot, and I'm sure you'll recognize it once we get into it. But it's very large open in the middle of the map. It is difficult to move across as a Terran player. Oh, yeah. And it's also can be a bit difficult to take a 4th base on, which we'll see if that's going to be a problem here for MVP or not. But we are about to load into this next map. Can Tefel do it? Can MVP stand strong against the 3 challenges, trying to bring him down to prevent him from getting to where he wants to be in that round of 16? We shall see as we jump into game number 3. And spawning down to the bottom left-hand corner here as our blue Terran, he is LGIM MVP. And spawning up to the top right as our red Zerg, we have tying up the series, Mr. Dignitas Tefel. That's right. I mean, Dignitas not... I remember back in the day when Dignitas had one of the best lineups ever, man. Oh, yeah. Naniwa, Show, Select, those 3 guys. Then you had Bishu, Mers, Bling. Maybe Bling was a bit of a later addition to the team, but... a little bit. Coach Apollo as well back in the day. The 2011 Dignitas team. It was a good bunch of guys. And nowadays in 2013, not as strong as they used to be naturally. I mean, they got Bling, Targa, and Tefel. I think they're 3 big guys. Bishu's still on the team as well.
Is Orc still on the team?
I think so. I think so.
Yeah.
I'm not actually with the team and haven't been for a while, so I'm not exactly sure on the squad.
Dude, that
but
guy
I think
changes race like every week.
At the start of StarCraft 2, being from the UK, that guy changed race according to balance. All right, and that's the truth.
Oh.
That's the truth. He played Terran originally and then switched to Protoss and Zerg now. Like, he's played everything, man.
I've never met him, but he seems like a cheerful chap. Anyway, so, yeah, Tefel recently joining Dignitas. Not recently, to be honest with you. It's been quite a while now. But doing all right for himself. We'll see now if he can take the final map off MVP. And again, I have to reiterate, if it is going to be a map to take off MVP, it's probably going to be this one. Derelict Watch is great for Zerg, and to the point you brought up before about it being hard to establish a 4th, just look how far the 4th and 3rd are away from one another. It's tough.
I mean, if you look at the natural of MVP and then just kind of glide up towards the 3rd, that low ground is where you're going to have to fight from.
Yeah.
Granted, if you get up there and you already have it fortified, tanks on the high ground are great. It's just getting up there, right?
Yeah.
And if we look at Tefel's style, and if he plays Roach heavy, comes crashing in before the tank line's even ready to go, that could be Tefel's strategy and mindset for this game. Play that similar style to what we saw in Newkirk, and then go. And hopefully, as you can see now, this map, you guys should know it if you've played Ladder. You definitely would have played on it, if not seen it on a couple of personal streams before as well.
Yep. Certainly a common factor now here, as Drone Scout is going to go along here for Tefel. He's going to spot the command center on the high ground and everything else. But you're right, it's a very, very open map, very, very hard to fully traverse. So that is certainly a big, big factor. That's why you see, I guess, a lot of drop play on this map. It doesn't really have too much dead space in the back of these bases, but still, it's safer going for drop play than it is just going across the middle of the map.
It really is, man. You boost right out of there.
Yeah.
SCV does manage to escape with just a single hit point, though. And should go back to work, back at home, and get back into his main base here. As Tefel will probably attempt to take quite fast third again. I mean, he hasn't got a gases yet. Ooh, as maybe did lag a little bit there. But we do have the second orbital. Double gases coming down at the same time here compared to single gas and 3rd command center. Difference in build means we're probably going to see Hellbats this time.
Yeah. Just relying on that staple that can hold very nicely. 2
barracks as well. I also have been watching his build too closely. So it was command center first, then barracks, then a second barracks, then gases. So if that's his build, then we are not going to see a 3rd command center come down. I don't think so. What we're going to see is the addition of a tech lab pretty fast in this game. We're going to see...
Just around stim.
Yeah, straight up to stim here. I think that after he gets a couple of safety marines here, he'll get a tech lab and a reactor.
Yeah, well...
Onto these barracks. So, I mean, with the factory coming down here as well, gives him a little bit of options. I feel it's still going to be all on that way. Like, you get a reactor most likely on the first one, and then a tech lab on the second one to follow it.
And switch it up.
Yeah, and switch it up. And without a 3rd command center, this becomes very dangerous for Tefel. We know that with a 3rd command center, no plays can come. But also, imagine this map from a Terran player's perspective and be like, is he going to send the overlords through the middle of the map? No. He's going to send them along the outlines of the map. It's going to take a while to get there. He may not see me for a long time. And if I have Marines out in position to stop him coming at me, that's pretty good, I think.
Yeah, and for a Zerg on this map, I mean, generally, like when I'm playing ladder, what I will do is position my overlords over this top middle portion of the map. It's like a little plinth that you can position them on. But even if you are keeping an eye on units moving down those paths, you can still move down the middle very easily via these paths, which technically are covered by watchtowers. So Zerg could be controlling them by Zerglings. But you don't see the watchtowers being controlled that much on this map, actually.
No, not that much at all. They're kind of out the way, the top left and bottom right. I think MVP, if he keeps up Hellion production, he may switch over to mines. But I believe that with Stim, going to finish it up early. Because ideally, as a Terran player, you'd love to have double engineering bay down. You'd love that. But with the barracks down and Stim early, he may just move out with a bunch of Hellions and a bunch of Marines. With Stim, come crashing in, do a bit of damage, and it could work out really well for him. But look at this, is our fantastic observer here, Icicle, doing our observing for us here. Spots out melee instead of missile attack. This is a change of style. Like, this is how we saw Belshir
back.
Vestige play out.
From Beastie.
Even though that was very scrappy against Beastie QT, we may see the full plan actually play out from what Tefel initiated in that map number 1 there.
And I like that. Again, I hate to go back to this point, but the melee works well on an open map. The fact that you can be so mobile with Zerglings and then eventually get good flanks and good positioning with things like Ultralisks later on in the game works out really well. But can he deal with, well, a potential poke out here from MVP if he wants to go with it, with Hellions and Stim, etc.?
Yeah, Hellion Stim and even Medivacs too.
Yeah.
Really deadly once that Stim nears completion. Tefel's going to have to be careful. He does have good creep spread. Does not have a Baneling nest down. Just Roach, Zergling. And Overseer goes in and spots everything. A good scout here from Tefel. This is what he needs. He needs to figure out what the hell MVP is doing. It's cross position. It's difficult to know what's going on, but now he knows. His reaction is immediately throw down the infestation pit and take the gases. Throw down a spore, and probably as he nears his drone count, which is roughly 65 at the moment, maybe a couple more, then he needs to start building units. Get ready, buddy, because MVP could very well come at you at any point now.
Yeah, you're right. It certainly seems like Tefel is very, very comfortable going up to, when dealing with something like this, around that kind of 75 drone mark, which is probably going to stay out in just a little bit here. But the Hellions actually get into this natural base. 6 Hellions could actually cause a lot of damage here. Roach is trying to push their way down the ramp here to try and deal with that, but he's still lost quite a few drones. 7 have already gone down. 3 more have actually entered the main.
We can see the hatch on the third base actually be killed. Straight out killed here. 16 Marines. 16 Marines here.
That is so much damage.
Tefel's tournament.
His units, they need to be here right
He's around
now.
16, hopes.
The Roach is trying to gun down some of these Marines. Will they be able to do it in time? I don't think they will. The hatchery falls, and a pickup there for MVP, which is phenomenal.
Okay, now same scenario applies. When you do damage like Hellbats or anything, you need to get ready for the counterattack. If MVP deals and catches his counterattack well, then he just claims his lead in this. This is such a good position for MVP. Killing a third base like that is massive, 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 massive.
Oh, and picking up, almost picking up that Overseer. If he'd have got that, then his opponent would have, in essence, needed to have morphed in another Overseer, so he could have tried to spot tanks on a high ground if they'd have been up on the high ground of his main. Admittedly, it's a little bit away from the natural wall, but still, it is a factor that can be come into play here. As Tefel now moves into position. He didn't see a third, though.
And MVP knows that he doesn't need to take a third. Why would you take a third if you just killed your opponents? You don't need to rush it, man. Take it slow. And MVP has a lead. Despite not having the supply lead, that supply, you know, it's a bit of a liar. It's a liar, guys. Roaches, because Tefel has a lot of roaches. Granted, yeah, like 2 supply roaches, 17 roaches out there. That's a lot of supply. He's got a good amount of drones because he didn't lose drones either. But he lost his third hatchery. His income's just been hit hard. And MVP doesn't need to rush his own income. He's just playing level. He's got good upgrades coming in, good production, good army. Everything's working well for him at this point.
Another drop is on the way as well. In fact, double-prong drops were on the way. He tried to drop down at the south with Marauders, wasn't able to really make that work out. Another drop up to the north, but not going to do too much as those Roaches will push on back as well. So MVP here, still just trying to extend his lead in essence, but Tefel's having none of it.
And if he kills this 4th base, that pushes him a little bit ahead again. While taking his own 3rd, these units need to stim and they'll bring this down, I think. He's not even stimming at this point. I'm a little bit surprised he didn't stim there, but he's going to bring... Okay, there's the stim. And he does get it. So another little victory for MVP, who's catching up in supply. Has another 4 Marauder drop down south here. May try to snipe a hatchery again while dropping in the main base. A combination of 2 medivacs at once, but still, 3rd base down. Lots of tanks, lots of units. Lots of medivacs.
And look at the defensive position that MVP is now setting up between these 2 bases. This is something that you have to do on this map. It's really difficult to fully get this 3rd base up and running because the concave for your opponent is always going to be better than yours because of that defensive location.
And he's got another play on the 4th base here.
Wow.
MVP. Big blow kill on the 3rd, small snipe on the 4th, 2nd small snipe on the 4th, and again extends his lead. Despite being behind in supply, everything's rocking in his favor. The one thing that he doesn't quite have a good hold on are his upgrades. But does Tefel have the best upgrades? I don't know. He's at 1-1 as well. He's kind of down there too, so it's not a big issue for MVP.
And that being said, he is transitioning onto his Ultralisk Cavern now. The scan goes down, does not see the Ultralisk Cavern, but does see the Hive. So that's all he really needs to know.
And he would have seen the Zerglings having +1 attack, right? So he must know that that's going to be the play.
So it should be able to react to that accordingly. How is he going to is the question, though. Should be seeing maybe a few more tech labs going down on barracks anytime soon.
Yeah, 2 more barracks coming in the production tab, so they should be adding tech labs for sure.
Yep.
He already has a comfortable Marauder count, though, so. But still, I think he'll add a couple more tech labs.
Yeah,
15 Marauders, that's really nice.
Yeah, that is really nice. It's a really good, stable ground to actually fend off the roaches and then into the Ultralisks, as well as even Infestors. It's so weird watching Marauders kill Infestors. They kill them off so quick.
Again!
Oh, God.
3rd time in this game, he's going to bring that 4th down.
That's a really big blow now.
It should. Oh, no, okay, he doesn't try to go. He doesn't want to risk his units.
It's so low, though.
He can come again, right? But what MVP, I mean, a lot of turn players, even me, I've made the mistake too. You scan, you see the hive, like, oh, hive units.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I got to go. But in this circumstance, you don't need to rush out. Just wait till you're 200 supplied, then go. You've got Marauders. Why are you scared of Ultralisks? If you move out before and get crushed by Infestors and whatever, you run the risk of losing your advantage. MVP's just moving out 200 supply, moving out Marauders, the biggest army he can get, basically.
Yeah. And he is actually up in terms of army supply in comparison to his opponent right now, because it's 80 drones out against 67 SCVs. So right now, MVP's always going to be up on that. The Zerglings try and flood in here, trying to go for a little bit of an engagement, but that siege tank line does go back quite far. He hasn't brought... Interestingly, MVP hasn't brought everything with this. He's just pushed out with a little bit. So these Roaches and Ultralisks move on forwards. They're going to clean up a little bit, but not enough, as MVP constantly powers on forwards here. It makes a lot happen with quite a little.
Yeah, if only he had that drop still alive somewhere to drop inside the 4th or something right now, it'd be perfect. But good fungals coming down from Tefel, actually, helping clean up the front line of Marie's Marauders. But there's a back line and a 3rd line and a 4th line behind this.
And, I mean, with that, the resources lost is like 7,300 to 4,500 right now. Although, that being said, Tefel once again marches on forwards and will clean up the rest of that. But again, behind this, look how much he has.
Behind it is the big story there. Like you said, he didn't bring everything.
Yeah.
He got a lot of his units back at home. He's still got a higher army supply count. Tefel's going to march across the map and be like, I hope you have a European macro, because then you probably don't have many units. But in ideal fact here, he's still up incredibly high in supply, and he's coming again with 2-2 upgrades this time. He didn't have that in that fight, but he does now.
Didn't bring everything, and now he's bringing quite a lot. And again, hasn't brought everything here, as MVP just moves out. Only 2 siege tanks with this, though. It's not as well-grounded and well-structured as that first push was.
He's switching over to mines now, because he's seen Zerglings and Banelings and Ultralisks, so...
And he's going to push on forwards here. That's not the best position for MVP to be in, as he gets completely wrapped around by those Zerglings and Ultralisks. And that was a good trade there by Tefel.
Yeah, more units from MVP behind it. So good trades, good equal trades at this point. A drop attempted to snipe this 4th isn't quite going to do it, I don't think.
No.
Very close, though.
Yeah. The Marauders lasted for longer than I was expecting there, as the Zerglings do nibble them down. And that 5th base is now up and running eventually.
Look at MVP's 4th. It's in the top left.
I was not expecting that.
And he has another one being built too at his home, so he can take a 5th.
Yeah.
Interesting location for that. I mean, as soon as Tefel gets wind of that, if he does, it's an instant kill. But does he know about it?
And this comes back to what I said about those watchtowers. Nobody ever takes these watchtowers on this map. And if he'd have taken that, he would have spotted that instantly. But as normal, Zergs do have these watchtowers quite a lot of the time. But
very defensive setup here from MVP. Tefel looks like he's trying to move in here. Probably kill the 4th down south. He's like, wait a minute, it's not there. Is it only just been built? Mines.
Well, that is a lot of mines. They could connect quite heavily with some of those Zerglings. They do kill off quite a lot of them. The Zerglings need to be there to complement those Ultralisks. But at the same time, some good fungals do hit some of that bio. Tefel now actually pushing on forward. These Ultralisks just not dying off. They only have 4-2 upgrades. They don't even have chitinous well, they do have chitinous plating, but 3-3 is now on the way behind all of this. And the Ultras still powering on forward. He's doing really well.
At the same time, you know, MVP's dropping on the 3rd, he's dropping on the 4th, he's dropping all over the place here.
He got the Ultralisk Cavern.
Killing off the Ultralisk Cavern, picking off the 4th base. If he just defends back at home, but did he overcommit to dropping at the same time his opponent was moving out here?
He certainly could have.
170 supply to 110.
He only has 8 Marauders left. If he now positions himself on his opponent's infrastructure with these Ultralisks and Zerglings and kills off everything that comes out, but that's a lot of bio that's just appeared.
Yeah, a lot of bio that's just appeared. A lot of SCVs were killed there. Plus he has position on the high ground. MVP will chase his opponent away for now, but a lot of Infestors are making drops still going on, and the natural on the 3rd.
Doing a great job as well, really, really limiting how much income Tefel actually has here. What a fantastic move by MVP here. And it's actually drawn Tefel all the way back. This is the saving grace he needed to keep himself well planted in this game.
And he's got the spawning pool in his sights. He's got the Baneling Nest as well, potentially. You know, nice drops here by MVP. I mean, it was very difficult. Oh, the Infestation Pit as well. There's two, never mind. But yeah, it was a very difficult balance for a lot of us as viewers there, and even myself. Did he overcommit to drops? Was it okay? Is it not okay? And he's still behind his supply, but I think it's safe to say that it was just okay for MVP there.
Yeah, just okay. And, you know, with that bio rally down where it was, that would have made it very hard for a fully melee composition to really start maneuvering around all of this infrastructure to try and hunt them down. So I think MVP would have exploited that if he'd have gone for the full engagement into his main.
Yeah. I love these drops, though. Well, not that one.
No, that one's
I didn't
gone.
like that one anyway. It was only 5 Marines.
Yeah, bye-bye 5 Marines.
It's not. I guess the worst way to die is fungal.
Do you think?
Yep.
Not a Baneling?
Worse? Baneling's instant death, man.
I don't know. Like,
I guess if
green
you're
acid?
Zergling with +1 carapace, then that sucks, man.
Yeah.
You get hit by another Baneling afterwards. Imagine fungal, though.
Two
It's slow
Banelings.
and painful.
Yeah.
It has
like
to be the worst way.
Slowly creeping through your insides. Ugh. It's bad.
You're like
It's bad.
Alien, where the little snake things comes out your chest. That's what it feels like to die from fungal.
Dude,
man.
my stomach feels like it right now. But anyway, Tefel now, well, he's at 150
But
supply.
this base,
Cheeky.
savior, a savior for MVP in this game. Like I said, if that had been spotted, it would have gone down immediately. With the amount of ultras and lings he had, there's no units there. He just doesn't know about it. He just doesn't know about it.
You know what's interesting? It's that it's 26 workers to 48 right now. He never lost the hive, and he's getting Ultralisk Cavern back again. So he's going to have still a pretty strong army, but MVP is still macroing up really strongly.
But Tefel just doesn't have that much resources. He lost his 4th, he lost his 3rd. He does have a base down in the bottom right, but MVP, with that 4th base at the top left, is able to rise up in supply, right? He's got 10 supply lead. At this point, remember that when Ultras first hit the field, they're the most scary. And eventually, they dwindle out because there's too many Marauders. They have 3 upgrades.
It's almost 30 now.
30 Marauders now. Originally, I think it was about 15. And there could have even been some in drops, too.
Yep. Whoa. And this army is scary. Look how many Widow Mines he's got with this.
And Drilling Claws, too, so they're going to borrow fast.
Yeah. This is going to be really, really hard for Tefel to deal with. I mean, he has a lot of meat behind this army, that's for sure. But any engagement that Tefel takes has to be so careful because of how many Widow Mines there are.
Yeah, and he's going to take an engagement, I feel. I mean, he's down in economy. He knows that he's getting weaker as time goes on.
These Zerglings
But
try
if
and
he
push
does,
forward.
he's going to get crushed by these Widow Mines. It's a very difficult situation for Tefel to play in from.
He's attempting to send Zerglings forward so he can try and soak up the Widow Mines where he can. But the bio is positioned in such a way that they'll never let them get to it before a big engagement occurs. So really good positioning here by MVP thus far.
Oh, this is a nice move from Tefel, though. Get his opponent, who's siege in the middle, run around, kill the planetary, get out. As in, the way you came in. Probably not the other way.
No.
That's where the army is if you go the other way, buddy.
That's a scary
And
way.
it's a very narrow choke point. There's a lot of Widow Mines.
Yep, they burrow super, super quick.
Yeah, just get out. There's no need to even go up there.
One Ultralisk is going to die. And then the entire army turns around on some of those Marauders. Actually, a few Marauders and Marines actually came in from the other side here, maybe trying to force his opponent away from that location. But so 1 or 2 Zerglings do split themselves forward, soak up 1 or 2 of those Widow Mines very, very nicely. A few more Fungals actually land a good amount of Fungals on that bio as well. He could clean a lot of this up, but still MVP microing back behind this and so many more Widow Mines behind it.
He's got a lot of units coming out too here, MVP has, but that was a pretty good fight. But still, even that was a good fight, the Marauders just chew through these Ultralists, and that's it. He's got no money. He's got hardly any bases back at home after losing those expansions, remember, for MVP's drops.
And no army.
And MVP stands strong. MVP is on the verge now of making it through to the round of 16, just dropping a single map versus Tefel here, and we'd be seeing him live in Cologne, Germany once again. Remember, you want to see MVP play live, you come here, because that's where he's going to be.
That is where he is going to be. MVP now marching on towards the bottom right-hand corner. 1 Baneling, 1 Infestor, trying to hold on strong. The Infestor goes down, that Baneling goes down. And the Spines are all that's left here for Tefel to defend his last remaining mining base. And that is probably going to be it. MVP from the brink of utter destruction in game number 1. Plays it out. GG, well played. 2-1. MVP.
MVP moves on to the round of 16 and is our first player from Season 2 in the Europe WCS to make it into the round of 16 of the Premier League. An extraordinary set, a great series between these two players. MVP, though, as we mentioned in the opening of the show, is just head and shoulders above the rest in that group. And that's what we're here to find out. This is not over yet. The rest of the broadcast will still continue. We need to filter through these 3 remaining players.
Yep.
Who is going to be the one player coming from Challenger League, putting sweat and blood into playing StarCraft 2 professionally here to make it to the round of 16. 3 players left, only 1 can make it way through.
That's the guarantee we have. 1 challenger player will make it into the round of 16. So we'll be back in just a bit, guys, where we shall see Mr. Beastie QT go up against Elfie.